We're elves, aren't we? Should we be listening? Should we be listening to the Goblin Podcast Network at gbncom.com?
This show is part of the Goblin Podcast Network, mate. You probably knew that, though.
All right.
In a town in the woods at the top of a hill, there's a house where no one lives. So you take a big bag of your big city money there and buy it. But at night when the house is dark and you're all alone, there's a noise upstairs. At the top of the stairs there's a door and you take a deep breath and try it. And the flashlight shows you something moving just inside the door. There's a tattered dress and a feeling you have felt somewhere before. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a ruined eye, it's always open. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a pretty mouth to swallow you whole. So you scream and you close the door and you tell yourself it was just a dream. In the morning you head into town 'cause you wanna go antiquing. In the store there's a strange old man with a wandering eye and a withered hand. When he hands you the old wooden box you can hear his old bones creaking. And you know what you will find inside the moment that you see that someone's carved your name into the tarnished silver key. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a ruined eye, it's always open. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a pretty mouth to swallow you whole. When you come home late, the doll is waiting up for you. When you fix a snack, the doll says it would like one too. Doll is in your house and in your room and in your bed. The doll is in your eyes and in your arms and in your head, and you are crazy. Now it's late and you head downstairs 'cause you just can't sleep, so you make some tea. And the doll disapprovingly asks if you really need that much honey. You decide that you've had enough and you lock the doll in the wooden box. You put the box in the fireplace next to your bag of big city money. As the smoke fills up your tiny room, there's nothing you can do. Far too late, you see the one inside the box is you. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a ruined eye, it's always open. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a pretty mouth to swallow you whole.
Welcome to the Gamers Haven Podcast, a gaming podcast for game masters of all gaming systems. So grab your dice bags and we'll get your game on. Well, hello there, everyone out there in Internet land. We continue on our part 2 here of our races, magic, and technology. Today, we go into the technology aspect a bit more, and we'll start talking a bit more about races. But enjoy the show. There won't be a new show next week because I'll be in South Dakota, but deal with it. And we may have to cut back on the shows at least up until after Jeremy gets hitched in early June. So you might not see a new episode then. There's not going to be any feedback at the end of this episode, although we got some great emails to go over once we can all get together and record again. But just because Jeremy's got some wedding thing going on, he has to deal with that, I suppose. Oh well, he just got to get his priorities together. But enjoy the show. Bye.
Maybe, just maybe, my boys can stop me from getting the book. Yeah, maybe I'm a Chinese jet pilot.
In a broken world where magic has been outlawed,
the entire village knows your candles have a little somewhat special about them.
Like mother, like daughter.
Hang her! She nearly burned the village down!
one family rules it all.
He did this! He killed my baby! He's a monster! No better than the fiend he calls a father!
One woman cursed with magic.
What have I done?
Becomes the pawn in a game of thrones that will tear the world apart.
Who is the woman you're so urgent to find?
Her mother.
Does she wear the red?
I'm not sure, my lord. It is said that she has breathed before. By all indications, though, she's unable to control it.
You will kill her.
Of course, my lord.
Do you think he knows?
When we find the woman, she will destroy him for us.
When her daughter is stolen,
Joss! They stole my Joss!
She wants only one thing, to get her back.
You were brave to have come here for me, my dear. You have no idea how foolish that bravery was, though. She was just a child. She was there to serve you.
What do you know of a mother's love? I will be killing you.
But that all changes when she finds her.
What have they done to you?
Join me. Together we can stop the Overlord. The children will go free.
Never.
Daughter of the Sun, the epic fantasy novel by Lonnie Ezell. Find out more about the novel, the author, and the podcast at LonnieEzell.com.
Stand by for action.
Sometimes things like guns aren't as spectacular. I mean, think about that. It's like, in our world, nobody can throw a fireball.
Right.
But they can shoot you.
Yeah.
I mean, when guns came out and armor was becoming useless.
And then a new ceramic body armor.
But still, I'm talking about like that.
Well, what's the difference between that and mage armor?
Yeah.
Nothing really.
There isn't. One's a different type. One's an energy and one's physical armor.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got to talk about. So on the technology side, where is your technology level? Is it normal that everybody has this technology? Are you going into sci-fi? If you want to stick it with fantasy, do you want to have the technology be ancient? Like I said, you can still have mages. They're just different.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask. How do you handle magic and technology in Thera? Since we've talked about Thera, let's get a perspective.
It depends on the situation because most people are not opposed.
Because I know on yours is you have like segments of Earth, and you've already said. You can have things pop up on Thera. It's like, hey, I have a lightsaber.
The world was built in the sense of that way back when the individuals that were taking over had so much technology. With the release of magic destroyed a lot of that. Now, Thera-based technology is not affected by the protections.
Right.
Outside sources of technology usually are. That's why I'm not concerned about a person that goes to Earth, drives a tank into Thera. Are they going to cause destruction? Yes. But guess what? At some point, either that tank's going to be filled with gremlins, or it's going to stop working. Something's going to happen to it.
Or some mage is going to polymorph it into a sword.
Well, there's that, too. It's not going to have any resistance.
Right.
But even if nobody does that, there are forces working against it. Now, steam tanks on Thera, built by the Atlanteans, were built there.
Right.
They function fine. And it really depends on the society. In parts of Andradia, one of the major empires, magic-powered or technological-powered farming devices are very popular, or getting more popular, because there are so many people that need to be fed.
Right.
If you can jump into a machine...
Well, around the time of the Industrial Revolution, I mean, that's when population started booming.
Now, there are other societies that think magic and technology is a corruption.
Right.
Like divine
Look
magic.
at the Arcano, the Architects of the Flesh from Feng Shui.
Yeah.
In the future, they've perverted magic and technology into Arcano tech.
In Thera, a corruption would be taking divine magic or natural magic and combining it with technology. I'm not talking about like simple technology. I'm talking about like steam tanks powered by godly magic. That's kind of... There's a purity about the divine magic that should not be disrupted by technology. Arcane magic isn't as frowned upon. The problem is it's still expensive. It takes so much willpower, life force, material components, that sometimes the technology is cheaper. To a point. There could come a time where soldiers have guns, but they also have healing potions. Making healing potions pretty cheap. Giving everybody a +2 sword, not necessarily so.
Right.
Depends on the time period. Also, I don't care. Like I said, I don't mind if somebody shows up with a lightsaber. I'm probably not going to affect their particular weapon because that's part of their character.
Right.
And actually, I would allow them, if they came up with the money and experience, they could probably enchant it. I think that'd be cool. A lightsaber that, I don't know.
Flaming burst.
Yeah, or dancing, or defender. Stuff like that.
It's the mixing genre.
Not to mention, when you get to the future, think about that. This mage walks into the enemy ship. He starts lobbing fireballs down the hallway. And when you think he's done, he then pulls out his laser gun and starts shooting at you.
Yeah.
It's
the same concept of using a wand of fireballs.
Exactly. And maybe he has both a wand of fireballs and a laser gun. There's nothing wrong with combining it. You have to look at society as how is society going to see it? It also depends on the source of magic. If you're going to have a piece of technology that instead of steam-powered is soul-powered, there's something evil about that.
Ooh, yeah.
That's different. That's necromancy to its most extreme, mixing of technology. That's frowned upon. We're not talking... Magic that is okay is like that tank, steam tank, that is resistant to magic, or has a fireball lobber on top, or lightning bolt lobber. That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The gods themselves frown upon... Well, let me take that back. They don't frown upon, per se. They don't agree with a lot of the technology.
Right.
It's going to happen, and it's not their place to stop it. But that's not their focus. So on my world, it's mostly interchangeable. This is the flip side of a coin. It's just sometimes the technology functions better, and sometimes the magic functions better.
Yeah.
When your gun runs out of bullets, and you're out in the middle of the wilderness, how are you going to make more bullets?
Right.
When that mage or that sorcerer or that priest can either pray, sleep, or read their book and recharge.
Right.
Or even the wand. I can just cast spells into that wand. If it was made properly, it's going to recharge. Your gun, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
When the nuclear power source in your atomic tank does give up, where are you going to get more radioactive fuel?
Mr. Fusion.
When you drive that car through the portal down the Great Blight, That's fine and dandy, but what happens when you run out of gas?
Yeah. They were just kind of big.
I mean, seriously.
Life's kind of big.
Now, that doesn't mean there won't be people that come along and enchant your car.
Yeah.
If anything, I actually look at it that it's more disruptive for people from my fantasy world to go to Earth than the other way around. Because when they go to Earth, they go into a setting that either one, the magic is so limited or non-existent that the people don't know what to do.
Right.
And that's something that you need to think about when you're doing your world creation. How is society going to look at this? When a technological advanced society meets a magically advanced society, what's going to happen? Or what happens when that society that has both technology and magic meets that one that just has technology? I mean, think about that. If portals opened up right now and these soldiers in full battle armor with machine guns and wands of disintegration walked out, plus they could heal themselves by drinking potions, plus they were genetically altered, what were we going to do?
Yeah. Hide.
On the other extreme, think about an F-16. I don't even know what they're up to now. I always think of F-16s. Flying against a dragon. That'd be a kind of cool fight.
Yeah.
That dragon, his flight isn't as good. The F-16 is doing loops around him. But still, I mean, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, realistically, get a Harrier in there.
Well, yeah, and these are all things
whole
to
squadron
think about.
of fighter planes. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's something I don't think a lot of people think about.
No. Think about your mage and your warriors with the magical items is suddenly appearing in the middle of New York City.
And how they would think about it. There's a great movie called a Hong Kong movie called The Iceman Cometh, starring Yuan Biao, about an ancient Chinese warrior who is frozen in ice and thawed out in the modern day, and he has to go track down this evil sorcerer. I think it was an evil sorcerer. And it's all about him dealing. The movie was made in the 80s in Hong Kong, so it's obviously a low budget, but it dealt with some of that. It's kind of interesting. And it's like you can have all the cliches, feng shui we had a lot of fun in feng shui dealing with cliches like that of, the guy from 6980 China, for seeing a television for the first time, saying, what is this, scrying device, or, this moving window, or, it's these horseless carriages and, steel monsters.
In one of your games, didn't your magically powered people end up on Earth at some point? They got a fire engine or something, and a firefighter named Bling Bling.
Yes, it was in my first D&D campaign. It was an April Fool's Day episode or game where I had an NPC mage the characters run into who was eventually going to become the new god of magic. Flubbed a spell and transported everyone into our hometown, which was Lawrence, Kansas. And everyone appeared in different areas, and they all had to find out where everyone else was. And they ended up, one guy appeared out at the fountain on campus. One appeared out in front of the Granada. One appeared out, I can't remember now, something like a Hastings, I think. And they all had to find their way to, Memorial Stadium. And one way or another, one thing led to another. A fire truck got called in, and all this crazy stuff, and they all teleported back to the fantasy world, and they took half the fire engine with them, and 3 firefighters and a little child. It's pretty funny, actually.
But I mean, that's all something to think about too, because you should be willing to play with the different planner stuff. Your magic and or technology would allow travel like that, or I believe it should, because I think it makes it a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's
if you do it right, it's a lot of fun.
April Fools, or
as long as your
not.
players want to have fun with it.
Yeah. Also play around with it. I mean, I like to run every once in a while a Christmas one.
Yeah.
Where the magic is not. It's really silly.
What was that? Where you had to find the golden Santas.
Yeah, the golden Santas and the magic cookies and crap like that. Where it's all silly and kind of doesn't have anything to do with your world, but you should play around with it. So you can mix. Though there is something interesting about having that invasion of the corrupted technology magic and having an invasion of that.
Yeah, it's just the way I use magic. Because magic still goes off. It's like without the somatic components, like magic missiles, they go off. But if you don't use the somatic component, which includes where they're supposed to go, they go. Because they're not controlled.
Right.
They don't. The way you control magic missiles is you do the components and you go there, and they go hit the target. If you don't point where they're supposed to go, you just do the spell. Oh, the magic missiles go, and they go. Oh, look, birdie.
That's something also people forget to think about. If I'm playing in a modern setting, there's different types of spells I'm going to take than if I'm in a fantasy.
Yeah.
You're not going to take any long.
I've never really looked too much at that. What is that? Urban Arcana?
Even that, I mean, you would even have to have that. I mean, just think about it this way. In our world, you don't want a lot of attack spells.
You want
defense. You want defensive, and you want things like sleep spells, charm spells, things like that allow you to get out of trouble. Because if you lob a fireball at someone, the cops are going to show up, and they're not going to ask questions.
They're just going to start.
They're just going to try to either get you off the street or shoot you.
Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that don't.
Isn't touched upon.
I mean, if you're going to play that's why if I have somebody come from Earth, if they're a mage, I limit their evocation spells a lot.
Right.
Because
you're not going to use
it's not
evocation.
that type of magic. We don't see that on Earth. Even a lot of the myths don't see that.
Right.
We don't talk about that in mythology. We talk about there are magic swords. There are people that can create castles. You don't have a lot of people lobbing fireballs.
No,
right.
That wasn't even in the original fantasy books.
No, magic is very low key or in the.
Well, yeah, I mean the quintessential fantasy books people think of is obviously the Lord of the Rings, and Gandalf wasn't lobbing fireballs in that.
He did lob flaming pine cones during The Hobbit, which is awesome. He's stuck in the trees, and he's like.
No, The Hobbit was awesome.
Though that whole thing with light, I think that's my favorite one. It's a simple light.
When he's riding out, shines the light out.
I say it's simple light, but it's holy light.
Yeah,
so
that was very cool.
But he wasn't a wizard, by the way. He wasn't a wizard. He's more of an angel.
Well, that's just it, though. Is the wizards in that setting are stupidly powerful like that.
Yeah.
And
which was awesome.
That's my problem with D&D and people who played D&D thinking, I want to run it like Lord of the Rings, because the mages in D&D aren't that. It's like, no, it's like, and that's the problem I have with Lord of the Rings RPG. It's like, you can play a wizard. No.
Not a true wizard.
No.
And I've never actually read their books.
See, Middle-earth role-playing, the original Middle-earth role-playing game books, did not have spellcasters. Yeah, did not have spellcasters.
Well, I understand it also had 4,000-page rule books with a million tables.
Magic, but the elves had different types of magic.
Merp was Rollmaster Light, apparently.
Yeah,
but Rollmaster was like 400 volumes.
Well, but they did things
tables.
like
Merp was 3 separate books.
Elven chain, just the way it was made, was magic. Mm-hmm. The elven rope, just the way it was made, was magic. It was because it's made by elves, or it's made by dwarves. So, well, yeah. I mean, if I'm playing in a modern setting, the attack spell should be. No, I'm not saying non-existent, but they need to be.
Well, I would consider Lord of the Rings more a low magic setting than high magic setting. You have uber powerful magic users, but
they don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any reason to.
Because it's like,
Well, and also it seems that there's a lot of side effects.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there that keeps them from doing that.
Like the Balrog?
Yeah, but he can't.
Smurf.
The Balrog was just cool.
I did like that scene, though, where he told them all to run. And it's like,
holy crap! Fly, you fools.
Like,
that was a whole good
I know what's going to happen, but
God, that was the best movie. That's the first one.
But yeah, that's something they do forget. People forget.
I think the problem with the second and third one was there was more combat than story.
Well, let's look at the second one. I like the director's cut. The extended cut was much better than the theatrical one. The Return of the King, meh.
It was just too damn long.
The extended one was just
Smurfing.
too long, and the movie had like 12 endings, and I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
But the book did too.
Yes, I know. I hated that book.
I didn't mind. The books were fine. I liked them. It's just a different setting.
Yeah, play Mage and Call of Cthulhu and go crazy.
But how do you handle like magic and
that's
technology
Call of
in
Cthulhu.
your world, though? I mean, we haven't really dealt with that in yours as playing.
Jeremy's way of dealing with it, with the balancing like scales, is pretty much the same way that it works in my world. The more technology that comes into play, the weaker magic gets. It's they have to equal. It's like you have a scale from 1 to 100. Say magic is a 40. That means technology is a 60. They always have to equal 100, and depending upon what age, depends on which one is the more powerful aspect of the two. Like, but a lot of technology in my world actually does have a magical background, like the dwarven blast powder and stuff. It's crystal rock that's been enchanted. The dwarves, and I know this goes against like all role-playing fantasy games. But the dwarves in my world are the really magic-oriented race.
Sure.
That is actually something that I wish people wouldn't always get stuck on. Is that
Was that
dwarves
dwarves
are magic? That's foolish. Dwarves
foolish and
look
stupid.
at magic in a different way. It's a tool.
That segues a bit into the races thing. You know how different races will look at magic and technology in different ways.
Yeah. Like the dwarven blast
the elves would be part of the magic, whereas
No, elves are not part of the magic. Elves actually in my world are not very magic oriented, which is why it's uncommon to see like an elven spellcaster. They don't use it. They're part of nature.
Mm-hmm.
They're very heavily entwined with nature. They know earth magic.
Well, it's because they're such a long-lived race that they're so a long-lived race. I mean, I'm still fascinated by the long-lived race idea of how would you look at change?
See, the interesting
thing
is,
hey, in 1,000 years of your life, you see this river completely dry up.
Because you guys overutilize it.
You still see the change of if you're talking about elves, even though they're not noticing the change of their own physical bodies, like their wife or husband never changes, but life around them does. In the sense of it always becomes it's spring, summer, fall, winter.
See, it's never come up.
It's always changing. Yes, if you watch that river, most elves don't just sit there and go, I'm going to watch this river. But they will do things like, I'm going to learn how to paint. They work on that for 20 years and go, I'm bored. I'm going to go work on this. And that's why instead of being a super master of one thing, they're a craftsman of many things.
They're a jack of all trades.
A jack of... Though that one master, oh my God, if you're a bard and you want the best musical instrument, you find the elven crafter of a musical instrument. And those guitars he makes, or those lutes or whatever, are perfect.
But yeah, what hasn't ever actually come up in my game is, we've talked about the Shattered Continent, Mashra Aina.
Mm-hmm.
And most people know that, that's where the elves used to come from. And that's where they used to live. They had their own continent. A lot of people don't think about, when they think about it, is, it's very Roman in its architecture and structure. But the fact of the matter is the elves, when they lived on that continent, were a lot more like humans in the way they did things. They didn't give a damn what they did to the environment and stuff. And they destroyed their own island because they polluted it so bad that when the magic from the asteroid did hit, it mixed with the destruction that they have wreaked themselves and caused things like the dead to walk again. The island is completely uninhabitable now. They realized and understood the mistakes that they made, so that when they fled the island, they blamed it on everybody else because they didn't want to accept responsibility for their own mistakes, which is an entirely human thing to do. And I know who's going to do that. Well, all the races are somewhat related, and they're all going to show a lot of the same fallibilities.
Oh yeah.
With policies, sorry. So when they came over here, they recognized what they did, and so instead of doing that again, they tried to become more in step and in sync with nature. And that's why the elves in my world are, like tree-hugging hippies.
See, my elves are different. That's why when people joke about being tree-hugging hippies, I just kind of shake my head, because my elves aren't tree-hugging hippies.
No, your elves are more like the high elves of Warhammer.
My elves are up here because they know that they're going to live so long. No, those elves in Warhammer, though, they don't know how to fight. No, they get machine gunned by a bunch of dirty humans.
No, that wasn't the high
They
elves
were
not
high
knowing how to
elves.
fight. That was not the high elves knowing how to fight. That was Terra not knowing how to fight against that weapon.
I don't
the
care.
high elves.
My dirty little Imperial
Weapon skill
human
5, ballistic skill
don't
5.
care.
That's higher than
Could
any
kill
other
them all.
standard unit in the game.
Oh, all their pitiful little fancy smancy dancing.
But they got stupid hats. Armies full of stupid hats just need to be wiped out.
Like the Chaos Dwarves.
Like the Chaos Dwarves, just the stupid hats.
That is one thing that players have problems with.
What, stupid hats?
No, that is something about long-lived races. Something that a lot of players have problems with, and I understand this, is in my world, elves were one of the first races.
Right. Well, it's putting yourself into the perspective of the race that you want to play or the race you want to create. You know.
And also, they were the first
So I guess we're
ones-
talking about our races now, by the way.
They were the first ones to figure out magic and arcane magic as a race. So there is something to be said about when they look at a human and just kind of nonchalantly wave them away. It's because a lot of them are that good.
Yeah.
They can really.
Well, a lot of people are going to look at elves like the elves from Tolkien, and they live forever. They're high and mighty. They're snobby.
Well, it's not really a snobbiness, though.
It's just an attitude.
Yeah, but that's what the other races will look at.
Well, that's true.
I see where you're coming with it. They're snobby. It's like Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was a jerk, but he was Marlon Brando, so he could be a jerk. It's that he is that good. It's like the elves are that good.
There would be elven generals and warriors that they are that good.
Yeah.
And if you do piss off the Elven Empire enough, they may just send out 12 guys.
But the way I would sort of balance that, the way I would balance it though is you have your elves, but I would actually not gather the elves into one big kingdom because they probably wouldn't get along.
See,
with that long of a lifespan, they would hold grudges forever.
My elven nation is basically one area, but you're right.
Or the race could be like in mine. The elves are cursed.
Well, there is an elven. There is a high elven king, but the problem is you have different factions within that, and that's why the elves haven't taken over because while they don't fight, they can't agree on anything.
Right.
Well, they all have different
just
opinions.
Because my elves
They're
are
debating
immortal,
for the last 1,000 years over this.
Well, just because my elves are immortal doesn't mean that they forever stay on the world either. There is a retirement process, you might say, when the elven spirit basically moves on. Now, he was alive all the way, but he made that journey into the afterlife.
Sure.
Physically. He just walked into the elven afterlife.
Into the mists of Babylon.
Some of them,
whatever,
Some of them stay on the planet, but I mean, you can do long-lived races. It's just I don't think player characters should be the old ones. If somebody says, "I want to be 800 years old," I'd say no. You're 120 years old. You're a teenager by elven standards. Think of that childhood.
Teenagers are going to be the ones that are going to explore. By the time they get to adulthood, usually all of them have explored. They're ready to settle down because they already know what they were curious about. Now all they do is just expand on their knowledge. I mean, they're not going to. It's like an 800-year-old elf is not going to go out and
and a lot
ride
of elves,
from one continent to another.
And a lot of elves would do things just because they can.
Yeah,
it's like I'm going to walk around the world.
And a lot of elves
because
also don't want to leave their elven forest. Elven Nations is a beautiful place. So unless you're in politics or you are an active defender, you can live your existence in basically paradise. Do you have to farm? No. The nature gives you everything.
And the elven laissez-faire look at it. It's like, hey, what happens outside this forest?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to us. We're going to still be
mine
here.
Has been enchanted.
And it's like you said that one, last time was it's like, hey, we're dealing with this human nation, and they insulted us. All right, well,
come back in 20 years.
We'll come back in 20 years, and we'll see if we can do something. Or I'm going to come back in 100 years, and I'll talk to your children.
Yeah,
to see if they want to deal.
Well, and that's why also some grudges in Elven society is such a big sin. Because think about that. You don't want to hold a grudge that long because you're going to be there. You're not moving on to the actual. In 1,000 years, you might still be there. So do you want to hold a grudge that long?
Right.
That causes so many problems. So they may be more forgiving in some ways among themselves.
On the other hand, dwarves.
Dwarves are obstinate.
And they can live to be about 500-600 years old. They're another long-lived race.
They're
Not as long
longer
as
than that in my world, but
There are different. They do have clan wars.
Yes, they do, but
they'll come together in if there's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Like goblins, orcs.
But the dwarves are even more when it comes to, yes, they want to make money, they want to do trade, they want to build.
I sort of think as dwarves is sort of big brother, little brothers. They fight, they knock each other around, they do their thing, but when something threatens the family, they just get up and go, what?
Well,
what are you doing? Oh, it's go time. And they both kick the crap out of you.
Like in my world, I have two types. I have the mountain dwarves and hill dwarves. Hill dwarves are the ones that are more willing to go out. They'll go outside, they'll set up the trade routes. Mountain dwarves, they are the ones that have those empires that have been under this one single mountain for the last 10,000 years. If you break in, you're completely and utterly smurfed.
Yeah.
Their defense, they practice it. They know that there's things in the ground. They might be keeping those things from getting out.
Yeah.
They've been in the Underdark. They've been below the Underdark.
That's one of the things that my dwarves will be doing is people will be looking on the dwarves as isolationist and they don't want to deal with the outside world. Well, no, they're just keeping this horde nasty things of the Underdark from reaching the surface.
They're very
That's what they've been. That's what they've been doing for centuries, and they were
they're a little busy to go out and
and they were set upon this task centuries ago, but everyone just forgot that they set them on this task, except the dwarves. The dwarves just know that we've always done this.
As a lawful society, they believe that if they set something loose,
they got to deal with it.
So in your world, if that's the task they've set, in my world, it's not usually the task. It's we just dug up a Balrog. It is our job now to keep that Balrog from getting out. Now, is that because they care about some humans that are farming down there? Not necessarily. But it's just their duty because they did it.
That's what dwarves are. Dwarves are honor-bound.
Their honor. Their clan honor.
Yeah.
I always look at it from their clan's point of view.
But they are honor-bound. When they set their mind to something, they won't stop until
And I do like that when it's not, if it's just minor infractions, it's going to be like fist fights and nobody's going to get killed. But if it's a clan war, if it's something vicious.
Yeah, I mean that's what is it? What's that famous family fight down in Texas? The McClowrys and the Clantons or something like that. Where you have generations of in this case generations of dwarves who are holding grudges and fighting against this other family because that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
They don't even remember what the fight started over.
Yeah, it could have been something just entirely
like
hey, he drank from this water, drank his water before my father did. Oh, well, 300 years later, they're still fighting over it.
And depending on how vicious it is, it could just be we don't like clans.
We don't talk to them. Yeah.
We don't talk to them.
We broke in this to kill them on sight.
We always raise prices to them by 10%.
Yeah. To kill them on sight.
Yeah. Which for something like they stole our daughter back in, but also don't have as many like the elves. They don't have as many children.
Yeah. It's the the Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues and the Capulets.
You just don't see a lot of the dwarves.
Except without the poofy pants.
Yeah. Well, they could have poofy pants.
My dwarves don't wear poofy pants. Poofy pants get in the way of mining.
Yeah, that's true.
But also my dwarves, a lot of them, especially the hill dwarves, aren't necessarily afraid of vast quantities of water. So they'll go on boats. And actually, there could be dwarven pirates. They're also willing to do. They're a lot more willing to do some things that humans aren't. Because they're less likely to break bones.
Yeah, they're built denser. The only race in my world that is actually terrified of large quantities of water are the Alhassans, because they're like, water's not supposed to be moving around freely like that. Okay, we know the ocean. We understand the ocean because we can see that, but 1.5 mile wide, things of water moving really fast with things living in it. That's not natural. Water needs to be still, because to them the ocean doesn't move. They don't understand tides. They don't know anything. They just know it's there. It's a large body of water. It doesn't move. Water's not supposed to be doing this. They go, that's not right.
I always dislike the whole elf dwarf, just immediate dislike.
Yeah, again, that goes back to Lord of the Rings.
I really
People just get it straight. Oh, hey, well, Lord of the Rings didn't like each other, so my dwarves and elves don't like each other.
My dwarves didn't like each other originally, but they've gotten pretty much past that. But that was because, the elves went the dwarves who gave them the magic to keep their, continent from being completely destroyed. Mm-hmm. So they think it's their fault that the continent was, turned into an undead kingdom. No, they turned into an undead kingdom because of the damage the elves had done to it.
See, when I play,
they're pretty much past that by now.
When I play a dwarf, it's usually that they just dislike everyone.
Yeah.
It has nothing. Just the ones I play occasionally are. It takes a lot for them to like you. But a dwarf, an NPC dwarf.
Because typically you look at dwarves as being stubborn.
Tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Hello, gamers out there, everyone. This is Peter Adkis, and I cordially invite you to come to Gen Con Indianapolis, August 16 to 19 at the Indianapolis Convention Center for our 40th anniversary, the biggest party yet for gamers.
There's a game going on and you're invited. Join Don, Derek and Jeremiah when they go out of character every week, or sneak a peek into the lives of your favorite game designers on Inside Track. Hear Pulp Gamer cast judgment. The best games and the worst games are now subject to the King's Court. Get your gaming fix at pulpgamer.com. That's PULP gamer.com. It's your turn to move.
Yes, and I'd have gotten away with it, too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dogs.
And we're back.
We're back with a wonderful three-parter, and today on the three-parter, we are, Nathan's got a rave for us this time. Jeremy's got character, and I've got a review. So let's kick it off with the rave.
Once my perfect world was gone, I knew you ruined everything in the nicest way.
The rave.
I have a rave here today, but I have a lament as well. And I'll start off with the lament. The lament is why did I wait 9 years after it came out to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night? As most of you Xbox 360 owners know, this last Thursday, Xbox Live Arcade released the first game to exceed 50 megabytes on the arcade, and that game was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I'd heard many things about it, and everyone said it was a really great game, and it was $10. I had the points. I've had the points for a while. I got them from that crazy Xbox Live Rewards thing that I did. So I went ahead and I bought it. And I started playing it. It seemed like fun when I started playing it, but I could only play it for a little bit. And so I played it again Saturday, when all my friends were there. All my friends who have actually played it before. And they started talking about it and pointing out things to me. And I kept playing. And then we started our Mutants Mastermind game. We played Mutants Mastermind game. Went back and played some TMNT. Then everybody left. And I went back to Castlevania. And I played until 7 o'clock this morning. 7 o'clock. And then I came over to Ethan's apartment at about 12:30. Because I woke up at 11:50 and made a mad dash for the shower and on my way. The game is incredible. I've never played a side-scrolling game with this level of detail and depth. It just hasn't been done. Hasn't been done since. It's unbelievable that, this game ever came out. The fact that there's so many different things you can do, so far I can transform into a wolf and mist. I know 5 spells of different things I can push out on the enemies, which do horrible, nasty things, like the Soul Steal, and you steal all their energy, turn it into energy for yourself, which is very helpful when you're in a full room and you've got 20 hit points left. $10 is a steal on this game. Yes, it doesn't have next generation graphics. Yes, the music is old. Yes, it doesn't have any CG video clips, and the voice recordings sound like it's done in someone's bathroom. But the game is just so incredible, and there's such a level of variety. I heartily recommend this game for everybody. I can't emphasize this enough, and as I ooze and wax nostalgically about this game. It reminds me of all the old side-scroller games I used to play when I was in, like, 5th grade, back when the Nintendo was popular. Anybody who's got an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 1 or 2 or 3 that is completely backwards compatible, which means sorry, you're up, go find this game. Anywhere that sells old games, find it. Buy it. Xbox Live, you guys got the one up because you just go out and buy it from the Xbox Live store. Anybody else, get it. It rocks. It is so cool. And it's like 1.5 games, because once you beat the castle one way, you have to beat it through an inverted castle as well to actually get the real ending. So, everybody check it out. It rocks. And I'll probably play it till like 4 o'clock in the morning today, too. Tonight, too. Even though I have to work tomorrow.
We've got character.
Do you have character, Jeremy? Give us character.
Okay, well, the NPC I'd like to talk about today, NPC I introduced a long, long time ago, called Mad Max. Now, Mad Max was a troublemaker who
Priest of Chaos.
Who was a priest of chaos, which means he did not worship a god, and in his mind he didn't worship a philosophy, though don't ask me how that works. He worshipped chaos in all its glory, in all of its horror, and everything. Now, Mad Max, he was not part of the Chaos Horde. That was too lawful for him. He was a priest of chaos, and when you saw Mad Max, the first thing you would notice is the smell. It was a mixture between feces and olives and maybe a little bit of cinnamon, and it was horrifying.
Nasty.
He was dressed in a simple, torn, dirty cloak. We're pretty sure he didn't wear anything under the cloak. It was very open. No shoes, nothing.
Basically, he was nasty.
And he had a tendency to cackle. Cackle. At random times, he would just cackle about the stupidest things. Sometimes he'd fall on the ground. He would spit. He would shout. He would moan.
He threw crap at one point in time.
He threw crap at one point. Now, he was with the party, and the thing was, his stats were variable. All of his mental stats were variable, and he was like a level, this was 2nd edition, but he was like a level 20 cleric. I mean, he could cast whatever he wanted. The problem is, at random times, he would revert to the intellect of a 2-year-old, and would occasionally throw crap at you, at enemies, things like that. Well, he was on a quest to find the Orb of Chaos, and he met up with the party when they were in hell. And the party traipsed through hell with this crazy man, and when they finally found the Orb of Chaos, he disappeared on them. He took the Orb of Chaos and disappeared, leaving them in hell, in a castle of a demon lord. Well, it turned out that the party continued up through the tower, the demon's fortress, and one by one they were picked off by the traps. And at one point, the last remaining survivor, 2 of the players had got to the top, and there was a wizard's, they assumed there was like a wizard's lab or some such. And there was 4 doors, and one player went in one door, and the mark of symbol of death went off and killed him. And the other player's like, great, so I can't go in that door. He picked another door and walked through. And this was fine. No symbol of death. And he looked around the room for a second, noticed there was nothing here, so he turns around and starts walking out, and there was a symbol of death on the other side of the door. And the party died. And I'm sorry I laughed, but it was funny. That whole campaign was funny.
You can't see it, but I'm pulling from the shoulder and flipping him off, because that was the first game. I played it with Sam as well, my friend Sam. Our first games playing D&D under him, and Sam made it over the top. I died like the 3rd person. Sam made it all the way to the top, watched someone else die, walked in the room, and went to come back out and got slaughtered.
The thing was, at the bottom of the tower where the Orb of Chaos was, the party could have turned around, but they didn't. They kept going up, and I was just like, fine, guys. Anyway, Mad Max now has the Orb of Chaos, is running around existence, helping and hindering. He has made... Every once in a while he'll pop into a game for a little while. Most people either run in fear just because of his smell, but he is useful once in a while. He has his uses. I mean, he is a powerful priest, and he can cast basically anything. The problem is he worships chaos in all its glory, and chaos doesn't... Well... Anyway, you can understand how much problems that would cause to a party. I'm wondering if I'm going to introduce him again. But anyway, Mad Max was a lot of fun. Take a character. I didn't mean him to screw over the party, but he did have a goal in mind. And his goal was to get the Orb of Chaos, and once that goal was accomplished, the rest of the party wasn't his problem. It was nothing to do with good or evil. It had to do with they no longer existed for him. So, use NPCs like that. I mean, there will be NPCs are people too, and they have their own goals. And every once in a while, those goals have a tendency to leave a party in the dust.
Yeah, literally.
Also, feel free to put your symbols of death on the inside of the door, especially if you're a demon lord. And that's all I got.
The review. Well, I'm reviewing the television show I've actually been rather keen on catching up on. Smallville, actually. And this coming from a guy when Smallville first came out. I absolutely refused to go see it because, I'm a purist when it comes to some things like that. And I was like, what? Superman in high school? What? Lex Luthor's there? All right, I'm done. Well, enough people told me that it's actually a pretty darn good show. So I said, all right, fine. I put the first season into my Netflix queue, and it finally came around recently. So I watched it. And the first season is kind of rocky. It's interesting. But, sort of like went up and I posted on the forum, said, hey, I'm not feeling it. This first season's not very good. Everyone's telling me, hey, wait for the second season. It gets really good. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll give it a chance. Enough people tell me it's a good show. So the second season gets here. And I pretty much sit down and watch it in about 3 days because it was really, really good. Well, I've watched all the way through season 3 right now, and I am very happy to eat my words and say that, hey, Smallville is an actually very good show. I like the actors in it. I like the stories in it. They're interesting. They're captivating. It's an interesting take on the Superman story. It's sort of the ultimate Spider-Man type approach, or the ultimate approach like Marvel has, where they reimagine it in modern day times, restarting the story, and that's what Smallville has done. In an entirely geeky point of view, they do a lot of cool stuff with homages to the movies and to the comic books and to the old TV series, with the use of music. Christopher Reeve actually had 2 guest spots so far, before he passed away. The voice of Jor-El on the show, is you only hear him in voice, is actually Terrence Stamp, which is awesome, because obviously Terrence Stamp was General Zod. And, you get good character actors like Julian Glover, who plays Lionel Luthor, who's the father of Lex Luthor in the series, and he's very good. He's actually one of my favorite actors from Brimstone. He played the Devil. It's a very good show. I'm actually very happy to be watching it. It's definitely been added to my list of stuff to watch on a weekly basis once I catch up with the 6th season. But I'm pretty fascinated by it. I'm pretty happy with where the show is going thus far, and hopefully it stays up that way. And I enjoy it quite a bit.
about it.
And that, I guess, concludes our three-parter for this show.
Yes. It'll be back.
What a filthy job. Could be worse. How? Could be raining.
Quick, shut that door, man.
As if that's going to stop it.
Look, it's not my fault the elder sign didn't work.
That's because it's shaped like a star.
No, it's shaped like a tree.
Star!
Tree!
Star! Well, it's too late now. We're the last ones.
What about Lady Hetherington?
She set on fire, then exploded.
And Father O'Leary?
He plucked out his own eyeballs and ate them.
Damn! I wish I'd visited yogsothoth.com more often.
Yogsothoth.com?
Yes, you know, that Call of Cthulhu website. Jolly useful. It's got forums, news, even interviews with the great and the undead.
Oh, I do wish you hadn't said that.
Oh, my lord! Stay away from me, you horror! No!
Well, you'll not take me! What? No! Please, no!
The Yog Radio, a Cthulhu podcast from yogsothoth.com.
Robo, excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble. This concludes the broadcast from World Control.
You can visit our website at www.canadiancrusaders.com. You can leave us an audio, call our voicemail line at 206-338-2414. Visit us on the Frapper map, send us an email, or go by the forums on Fistful of Comics, or go to our website and click on the forums link to get to the forums, and leave us a message there, and we'll get back to you absolutely as soon as we can. Thanks for listening. Gamers Haven podcast is released under a Creative Commons non-commercial attribution share-alike 2.5 license and is a proud member of the Fistful of Comics podcast audio group.
And if you slow the draw, you'll be fast to die. There's a new sheriff in town, but he's all alone. It's alone in the dark. Spits a fire. Favorite bullets and blood.
The General's Arcadius. I know you hated him because of
Well, kill my prostitutes.
for killing your prostitutes. Yeah,
He also
beheading
killed
your
somebody else.
prostitutes.
Yeah, that
And then slapping you guys around, taking your stuff and throwing you into slave pens. And then just going, yeah, I'm done with you.
I have his boots.
Paul. I wonder how Paul Cthulhu's doing.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
He probably was eaten by Cthulhu.
No, you don't know Paul very well.
Cthulhu doesn't eat his spokespeople.
No.
They're the last one.
Yeah, they're the last ones to get eaten. Cthulhu likes
Well, I'm glad we
Cthulhu
have the
eats you
fish,
next
then.
to last.
Who was he at this time?
When he signed the contract?
Yeah.
Oh. I want to say it was about 7th or 8th level. Roundabouts.
I still think Fareed would have gotten 4. Or he would have, because pit fiends have it in their mind when a debt is fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point he would have done something big enough.
See, the thing is, the Fareed you guys ran into is several millennia since that, so he is actually leveled out a bit more. Back when he first came out of that prison, he'd been there for a while.
Yeah.
And he was a bit loopy from it.
But even being a bit loopy, at some point he would just be like, the druid would be like, guys, there's this pit fiend, he's helping me out, can't go near any orphanages, can't go, why don't we just stay out in the wilderness? Getting attacked by a bear or something.
I turned this into a whole big, the whole arcing story was, the character had to go find these 5 pieces of armor, this wooden armor, that would basically resurrect Ilana into it. He got the first 3 pieces and then just started whining because he lost all his druidic abilities, and I would give them back to him in chunks. Meanwhile, he was going off and he was getting illusionist abilities from multi-classing. And I warned him. I talked to him like, this is going to be slow going. This is going to be tough. You brought this on yourself.
He could have also classed
he
up
went
as
through the
different
first
things.
3 pieces and then just started whining and bitching.
So he could have actually resurrected her.
And defeated Farid.
And then we would have been dealing with
Alona. Instead of Farid.
Who would have?
Or you probably would have been dealing with Alona, Obadiah, and then the other.
See, I like Alona. She's more of a hippie, though.
Yeah.
She is the tree-hugging hippie. Yeah. She drives a little, hippie mobile.
But I sat and thought about it. It's like, what could, in Farid's mind, what could he do that would, one, be justifiable for him and do good for him because he wants good for him, and also help Rostic. But what would he consider to be helping Rostic? Been like, okay, he would want to become his god, so he could give him his divine power. Twisted, yes, but a pit fiend would do it.
And not to mention, he could have looked at this the other way and gone neutral evil, and he could have become the first high priest. And instead of in the afterlife of being a little dog, he would be
he's on the leash with him.
He would be a pit fiend, the powerful pit fiend priest.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways he could have twisted this, and instead he went the whiny route.
Yep.
Just
that's why I tell
one
people.
Tiny.
That's why I told my friend Aaron. It's like, well, I need some GMing advice. That's GMing advice I can give you for D&D is don't think of a storyline really. Think of ways to screw with the players. How can I screw with the characters? And then stories will evolve from that. And that's what that first campaign was.
You suck so bad.
That was a fun, because he walks in and he's like waiting for me to have him do a save. I'm like, there's no save. He looks around, there's no way out. And he's just like, okay. He turns to leave. And there's a symbol of death above the doorway.
You did 80 points to a first level character.
Oh, he was more than first. He was like third.
No, he was first. He and I both were first level. That was our first game. I was being tortured by goblins in the bottom area of that dungeon. You goof.
Food.
And I have class tomorrow night.
So do I. I have a test tomorrow night.
I do too.
Yeah, psychology.
I don't.
Shut up.
You just work till like 10 o'clock at night.
We're gonna put you in the. We're gonna lock you up with Mosquito.
I'm gonna work till 7 now. It'd be in a museum in this permanent, like, mithril glass, indestructible orb.
His boots?
Yes, with inscriptions of the party member defeating him, and a story, and floats above
He
some
killed my
museum.
prostitute.
Anyway,
the story would probably read, he killed my ladies in waiting,
yes,
you know?
and go on, and then be like, and there would be the boots, and they'd still be smoking. The other Shan would still smoke.